complex numbers are a combination of the real number component and the imaginary number component. So when we're adding or subtracting complex numbers, we're going to combine all of our real numbers together, and we're going to combine all of our imaginary numbers together to get one complete complex number. So in our first example here, you can kind of look at this as this is a complex number, the a plus bi, plus 38. Notice there's no imaginary component to this complex number, meaning there's 0 imaginary. So really all we're going to have to do is combine our real numbers. So our real numbers, we have a positive 5 and a positive 38. When you combine those, that's going to be a positive 43. And then for our imaginary numbers, we didn't have an imaginary number in the second complex number. We just had the 0i, so the only imaginary component we have is negative 4i. So our answer to adding these two together is 43 minus 4i. That's our answer. Now on this second example, it's a lot more complex in that we've got really 3 different complex numbers to deal with. We've got this first group, this second group, and this third group. And the thing that we need to keep in mind is we're going to need to distribute the negative to both parts inside the parentheses. So our very first one, we've got a negative that we need to distribute inside the parentheses. So that becomes negative 2 minus 3i. And then when we look at our second group of complex, or our second complex number, we also have a negative that we need to distribute. Once we've distributed, then we can get rid of our parentheses. So negative 4 plus I, that got rid of my parentheses. And then my third one is actually a positive that I'm distributing, which doesn't make any change. It just gets rid of the parentheses. So plus 3 plus 2i. So all I've really done is I've taken care of my negatives and gotten rid of my parentheses with distribution. Now I can go about the process of combining all my real numbers and combining all my imaginary numbers. So let's start with the real numbers. We have a negative 2, a negative 4, and a positive 3. So I'm going to put those down here together. Negative 2 minus 4 plus 3. And now we're going to look at our imaginary component. And our imaginary component, we have negative 3i, positive I, and positive 2i. So that's going to be negative 3i plus I plus 2i. So now that we've got our like terms or our like kinds of numbers grouped, we're just going to simplify. So when I start over here with the real number component, I've got negative 2 minus 4 plus 3. That whole thing combines to a negative 3 because negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. And on my imaginary side, I've got negative 3i plus I plus 2i. So it's really negative 3i plus 3i, which the whole thing zeroes out. So my answer to the simplifying of this whole thing is just negative 3. The 0i doesn't exist anymore.